I bring you warm greetings from the Philippines. I would like to thank the organizers of this conference, a fitting celebration of the 50th anniversary of the promulgation of Ad Gentes. Missio, the International Association of Catholic Missiologists, and the Pontifical Urbaniana University. In the letter sent to me by Father Alberto Trevision, the rector of the Pontificia Università Urbaniana, the task of the speakers in this 5th session is described this way, and I quote from this letter: "We humbly request the speakers to focus their attention on essential and not peripheral themes in order to develop a new identity of mission, taking into consideration the multiplicity of contexts and their acutely complex nature. We trust in the courage to solicit new demands, just as new are the challenges which mission is called to undertake in the faithful announcement of the gospel of Jesus Christ." End of quote. So the rector is telling us to go to the essential, not the peripheral. I will tell the Holy Father, we will not go to the peripheries. And we should be careful that that is not the motivation for becoming an ordained minister. I tell you, when I became a bishop, practically all the people of my hometown claimed that they were my relatives. Suddenly, my value rose. And now that I am a cardinal, well, you cannot imagine the new worth, the value that I am experiencing. But we have to be attentive to that. What motivates a person for embracing ordained life? Jesus Christ, whose mission the church continues, is our model. He was consumed by mission. He was passionate about his mission. For Jesus, mission is not only work to be accomplished, but the flowering of his intimate relationship with the one he called Abba, Father, the one who sent him. He does only what he sees Abba doing. He seeks not his own will, but the will of the one who sent him. The Gospel of St. John, chapter 5, verses 19 and 30. For Jesus, mission means being sent by the Father. My brother bishops and priests, for Jesus, mission means being sent by the Father. Not going where I choose to go. Not going where I choose to stay. Not choosing where it is convenient for me. Not choosing where I have charted a career path. That's not mission. If bishops and clergy are continuously formed after the missionary heart of Jesus, they will fulfill God's mission rather than aspire for a position. Mission, not position. Why am I shouting? Without a consistent prayer life, nurtured by humility, bishops and clergy might lose the sense of being sent by God for God's purpose. What might happen is they would send themselves, promote their goals, and build up their kingdoms. Let us not forget that Jesus was sent to preach the good news to the poor. Hence, prompted by the Holy Spirit, the church must walk the same road which Christ walked, a road of poverty and obedience, of service and self-sacrifice to death. A renewed sense of the mutual interiority between the universal church and the local churches. Due to pastoral solicitude, pastoral concern, bishops and the clergy desire to give exemplary service to their dioceses, their parishes, or their places of ministry. And that is good. But there is a danger that we should be aware of and guard ourselves against. There is a danger, though, that they could become so focused on their immediate local communities that they would not bother to know the needs and the realities of the wider church. Nor would they allow the conditions of other churches to affect their local ecclesial life. Without sufficient knowledge, they lose interest in and lose also a sense of responsibility for other churches. Their pastoral ministry and their local churches have become self-referential, auto-referential. For as long as my parish is doing well, I'm happy. I don't care about the other parishes. For as long as my diocese is well, I don't care about the other dioceses. My responsibility ends where your jurisdiction begins. That river is the end of my jurisdiction. My responsibility is up to that river. Theological pastoral reflection on the mutual interiority between the local churches and the universal church. Bishops and clergy must study theologically, read, and grapple with this very important but complex concern. Being self-referential or self-contained weakens both the local church and the universal church. But in communion with other churches, doing and acting well locally for the good of the universal community will make mission and pastoral care mutually inclusive. But I repeat, this requires a solid ecclesiological study of the relationship between the universal church and the local churches. Also, I propose a serious study of the missionary aspect of the collegiality of bishops. Very often, when the theme of collegiality of bishops is raised, it is reduced to the relationship between the Pope and the bishops, and very often about power and authority. But the collegiality of bishops definitely has a missionary footing that has to be studied. We also have to study the missionary formation of all the baptized according to their callings and states of life. Bishops and the clergy must awaken, animate, and form the laity for mission. Ad Gentes 21. But this means that the bishops and the clergy must also be at home with in a participatory and collaborative approach to the local church's missionary engagement. The whole local church being a missionary church within the universal church. A lot of studying to do. Okay. Third, the worlds to which we are sent and the worlds that come to us. Here you have the combination of ad gentes and inter gentes. We go to the world, but the world also comes to us. In Jesus, mission means entering the human condition. Jesus says, I am sent by the Father. But sent where? To where? He was sent to the world, to humanity, and so he entered the human condition, getting to know and understand human frailty by uniting himself with humanity, by becoming human. So here the biblical knowledge and union really come together. The mission of bringing the gospel to peoples, to the nations, requires understanding their worlds through Christ-like solidarity, aided by social, cultural, and anthropological studies. Imitation of Christ, but also a lot of interdisciplinary studies. But as we missionaries go to the different worlds, we witness these worlds coming to us as well. Sometimes before you can even go to the worlds of peoples, these worlds have already come to you earlier. Peoples and nations are in constant movement nowadays. Migrants, refugees, displaced peoples, social media, digital technology, etc., have blurred boundaries of going and coming. There is no exclusively missionary sending church, as there is no exclusively missionary receiving church. Every church sends, but every church receives as well. Only God sends, but God comes as well. We are all sent, and all of us must receive. I must confess, in this world of digital technology, I am a digital immigrant. I am a digital migrant. I am not a digital native. But that is one world that we have to enter. We are sent there. But that world is also coming to us. And as a teacher, because I continue teaching, I notice that most of my students now are digital natives. And their way of thinking and understanding is quite different from my way. They learn through video games. How do you teach the Trinity through video games? How do you teach logic through video games? How do you teach about eschatological realities using video games? That is a challenge to missionaries. Don't say it is impossible. I learned a painful truth. They say the young generations have a short attention span. They say they can listen only for 10 minutes. But they can stay before the television and their computer games for 3-4 hours. So that means they have the capacity to pay attention. Where is the problem? The problem is not in the attention span. The problem is they do not understand what we are talking about. The whole educational ministry mission will change if we enter that world. How exciting! The cost. But you know, if you just have to meet people on the bus, smile at them, you don't need extra budget for that. Mission is becoming more and more expensive. But mission does not have to depend totally on the availability of financial resources all the time. Where two persons meet, there mission begins. Bishops and the clergy must harness all their relational skills and grab all opportunities for human encounters in the promotion of mission, especially to break down barriers and to heal prejudices and wounds that have been festering humanity for generations. The very person of the bishop and the clergy should be the contemporary incarnation of the mission of Jesus. So those 4 areas, a rediscovery or rekindling of Jesus' sense of mission, a renewed sense of the mutual interiority between the universal church and the local churches, a deeper understanding of the worlds to which we are sent and the worlds that come to us, a return to person-to-person encounter. These are some points that I propose for the missionary formation of bishops and the clergy. Thank you very much.
Grazie infinite Eminenza, perché con la vivacità del suo eloquio ha toccato aspetti molto interessanti e ha lanciato sfide di interesse anche sotto il profilo della riflessione teologica, naturalmente, e l'ho fatto non solo come pastore ma anche come dottore in teologia e poi twice Doctor honoris causa in Humanities. Nel 2014 Sua Eminenza ha ricevuto per ben 2 volte in 2 autorevolissime università, la Fordham University di New York e la Carnegie University di Washington DC, ha ricevuto nell'una e nell'altra un dottorato in Humanities honoris causa. Mi sia concesso solo di rimarcare in questo contesto universitario e accademico l'interesse e l'insistenza che lei ha mostrato nello studio delle questioni che concernono la formazione e i percorsi formativi in ambito missionario. Bene, grazie ancora. E ora